It looks like somebody's trying to close down this deal real fast. These were Americans, anywhere from Dwayne Rock Johnson to Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, talking about death to me. For what I was told, actually, for what happened to me today, it will be your last one. If it happens one more time, you're dead, 100%. So I did go sleep last night again inside of the lab, if you want to call this room a lab, or microwave oven as they refer to one as. And Dwayne Johnson's scenario really popped up. That's basically when I was... today I couldn't get myself up, because when I was trying to get myself up, let me demonstrate to you. This is probably related to marrow cancer, I'm pretty sure. I also am assuming it's related to marrow cancer because they talked to me about, in a little bit I'm going to explain, extremely strong pain again in a tibia bone, exactly a little bit below that you see here in this picture, and this in both legs, sharp pain with the spasms, foot, anywhere from foot and lower muscles area, along the bones, you know. It kind of felt that it's gonna tear me apart, lower muscles, and it would go up also on leg, although not as bad. There was a serious shortness of breath involved today for the first time. A sweat, I have to tell you, a sweat, and I felt I could almost lose the conscience. Therefore, it did have something to do with the pressure, low or high pressure, wherever the issue was, on no less than 3 occasions, with one time falling back on this bed on the floor where I sleep inside of this room. Then as I approached toward the kitchen, I picked myself up, I approached myself toward kitchen, I just instead turned right before reaching a kitchen area, and did go on a stairways where I grabbed myself for the wall for something so that I would not collapse and break my head. Did spend some time there, and then I proceeded back toward my room, and instead turned into the mother's room, where I rested myself on the bed another at least 10 minutes. So I needed about 20 minutes to gather myself. So then I did go to the kitchen, and I had a little soup, a little juice, and a little even chocolate, whatever. In between this, also, I did not even mention anything stated here. It was my parents, actually my father was, that inquired from my mom the information about the Aunt Minka when she died. That's pretty insane, but it's going exactly accordingly with MK Ultra scenario, as I stated when I was told that all this stuff, if you do it one more time, then you are dead. And as I asked, why is it asking this kind of question today? That's very crazy. A mother answered him that she died in 1981. That's 41 years ago. And then he started to talk about when did my grandfather died and so shit and on crap like this from MK Ultra, which exactly meant that since this I should not enter inside of this lab room, or I will be killed. So yeah, I practically, I'm assuming this got to do with the marrow cancer issues, and it feels like right here is a tibia bone, a little bit below here, as if almost on the part it is indicating right here on the that you see is indicated right here on the picture, just a little bit, few maybe 3-4 centimeters down, as if somebody would drill, use like a drill machine and drill you right in there. That's exactly what basically it feels like. In respect to this marrow cancer, let me see that. Forms in the blood, forming stem cells of the bone marrow, soft sponge-like tissue in the center of most bones. Bone marrow cancer includes leukemia and multiple myeloma. This, I'm going to only say that this individual here have spoken to me how I have to walk a lot because it's going to be exactly about, they're going to be doing this to you. And so he was talking about something about leukemia and stuff like this. So this is the shit now we are heading. Oh. This little crooklet who likes to talk about the cancer he got, whatever, so he's crazy. Anyhow, this is some kind of independence politician, Slovenian. He's not completely 100% in his head. But this kind of shit is a serious one, right? So I don't know how much damage they have done so far. Okay, I'm gonna finish this video with a few thoughts I shared to myself about this case a few days ago when I went out for a walk. So you're gonna understand a little bit more about what this shit is all about. Now, this is about completely other issues, but involves this criminals from London and Berlin. None of them had to go through anything like this. It's actually really disturbing what you're gonna hear now. There was a guy that, and they would have worked with me, that asked me if I want to become a royal. They were asking me this under MK Ultra. Trump didn't want me to express my will to become a royal. Tell them you don't want to become royal and that's it. This is just next to all other shit these people have done to me, completely insane stuff. And so this guy talked to me about if I'm gonna cross to the other side, that this is like a test to become a royal. Come on. This clearly is dealing with assassins. Clearly is nothing else than to have to do with assassins. Firmly, factually, there is no fucking tests, and nobody can really not subject you to some kind of tests and stuff like this. And for that matter, I don't understand what kind of fucking royal. This is sick shit. Slovenia, this is like a really, really small country with 20,000 square kilometers. And for one thing, this is where the hell I am from. It's like a really small piece of real estate. And the definition of the royal is exactly everything but what the fuck these people did with me. Actually, by destroying me 28 years of life. So I don't know anything about anyone crossing stuff like this, talking about all other issues and doing shit like this with him. This, I don't know anything about this. But here, this is what basically this case is about. Yeah, since 97, when brought back to Miami, the Germans alone insisted me that I should do even a suicide. Insane stuff. That I have to exercise, that I have to go out, that I have to, I don't know what the fuck to do. Crazy, completely insane stuff. Things went extra bad after 96 when I warned Western team about setup attempt from the eastern part of Europe, politicians, our politicians right here from Slovenia, where they try to set them up, mark them as Nazis basically right here, practically at my home. And you know, for that matter, I suppose that this is the way it works. Things went just from bad to worse, but it is people did damage already, just as I have stated on my complaint, which hopefully I'm going to even complete. These people started to make damage to me already in 95 along these Eastern Europeans. So it was nothing other than knife in the back for 28 years. So, but the video I'm about to play you, this is all about a harrowing. It's like you would continue to stab somebody basically until he drops dead. I don't know anything else in respect to this case. It's like not almost like, but this is like you would force somebody into a suicide for 28 years. Come on, fuck this. Let me play you a video. Okay, a little update. That it was a sister from my neighbor whom I didn't know anything about her. She never was, not even in this house or ever that we would meet. From the neighboring village here that died a week ago. A really strange talk this morning. This is a nice little chocolate. I don't understand this really, this kind of stuff. Actually, there were royals that expressed interest in this case, like a Belgium royals, because of amount of money that West alone pledged itself would pay if I would do what I already have done like a million times more than what I should. Anyways, about MK Ultra in respect to MK Ultra. So if you can buy a fucking royal titles, not one, I don't understand what this would have at this point. Further with me, this is just a creed of some kind of pathological liars, psychopaths, basically. I don't understand anything other than that. I lost 28 years of life. Come on. MK Ultra in respect to royaltitle. Ended with a Ursula von der Leyen. Ursula without any kind of title, anything. Till she got through this case, she met Guy, through whom she got some kind of German, not royal title, but some kind of title, whatever. Different name, last name. That if I will keep talking bad about her, that she will interfere in this and stop it, and there will be nothing. So usually this is always what the case was. Also in Poland, when I went from one dot to the other where abuse would take place, and the clause, the MK Ultra clause, to what I understand now why Donald Trump referred to as masochistic, self-inflicting pain process, always ended and then nothing, and then nothing. So if you would tell what the fuck went on, what they were doing to you, and then it was, then nothing, and then nothing. And the last thing, since I'm drinking a milk this morning too, and I had a chocolate, and I want to finish this properly. I had Dwayne Rock Johnson going like insane about veggie drinks, like doing crazy shit. Like under MK Ultra, they got him, I was told, consuming enormous amounts of honey. He would go for the honey like crazy, but according to many, that did not him too good. It made his belly grow, basically running around here and doing pull-ups and all kinds of stuff, push-ups. I suppose that he might have had something, experienced traumatic shit related to cancer, something like this. It's the kind of stuff I would just rate on MK Ultra. It's like, do you think I'm actually believing this kind of stuff? Well, let me explain to you something. Stuff basically I have seen went on. I have to acknowledge as eccentric, as insane, borderline insane. Just as attempt in '97 when Germans told me that I have to exercise that they have implanted me, that they insert in my brain a fucking electrodes, a stimulation electrodes. And so that I have to exercise, go back and forth on Miami Beach, run back and forth and do crazy shit like this, or I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with me, and I don't know, insane shit like this. So I know that this shit is actually coming from Berlin, from the heads of people who dedicated themselves as the biggest memorial to the nation, Auschwitz. This is just an attempt to drive somebody nuts, crazy. I don't think actually Rock Dwayne Johnson had any of it, but they were using this, also black people, to cover their ass, cover their neo-Nazi ass, basically. Eccentric ideas about blending yourself, enormous amounts of vegetables, and eating all about the natural and stuff like that. I have to know it's just fucking insane, and also attempt to drive me insane, basically. In addition to 28 years of life I already lost, and it was nothing else than attempt to push me basically into a suicide. These people are fucked up. That's all there is to it. These are psychological psychopaths, liars, pathological liars is what they are. Assassins, maniacs. Title, what fucking title is worth having your spine broken and cancer, end up with a marrow cancer and shit like this? And it's kind of harrowing after they fuck you up already for 20 years, 28, close to 30 years of life, basically. Come on. Okay, sometimes in 2017, if not 2018, Prince Harry had me alongside with him. I went Rome, Italy, and I did talk about this already, about this some kind of Romano, whatever, that Putin brought to Slovenia sometimes in '98, started to participate in MK Ultra. A real nobody. Not a real lineage of Romanos, whatever, but just something that Putin used along the way, basically, as a footstep for him. Anyhow, it was this girl, beautiful girl, Italian girl, and this guy was a very nice guy too. He was a nice guy, this Russian Romano, whatever you wanna. He is a little grandeur about himself. Nah, how would I say? In Slovenian language, say domišljavost. That's like thinking arrogant, not really arrogant, because this is actually like a real, and yeah, doesn't matter. I did spoke about how he got a job. It was very difficult for him. Nothing went on with this guy, and then they got him through Berlusconi. They got him employment as an investor and met his lady whom they told me that I don't like Italian ladies, you don't like. Then this is the last chance, whatever. They brought this girl. Became his fiancée actually. That was a really beautiful girl. But in those times, I'm talking about like 2003, Putin needed me to look like unfriendly basically with the entire world. He wanted to portray me as a Nazi, whatever. So Italian woman, that's a no, this and that. But this girl was very beautiful, and it wasn't the first time. I don't think the two knew yet one another. It wasn't the first time that the girl that appealed to me, it would be the next thing that she would be gone, that somebody would go and snap her. That happened with a guy here from Slovenia. That there was a Slovakian girl I liked, the guy who sold me a computer. And the next thing you see, he went to Slovakia and married her. I'm not kidding. People figure out I have a good taste. Oh, this is a beautiful Italian woman, so it doesn't matter. So the two got to know each other 2003, 2004, since, and they got finally married, as you know, in St. Petersburg. And as the two headed back, Harry had me, like on a leash. Basically is how MK Ultra looks. Is you are basically guiding somebody drugged up through the city, whatever, follows you around. I asked the guy, why don't you let me have my life like this? I was just about the size of Romano back then. And it's next to the nice attitude he had. Now he mentioned that this marriage is going to take place, and I was really happy for both of them, because bride was really smiling and really was like, I saw myself in him because I had this extra kilos, whatever. And as we headed back, I asked Harry, I said, listen, I said, why don't you have me? I mean, why don't you let me have a normal life like this guy? This was a real nobody, and they just give them jobs, they load them with the money. What I wanted, basically, I ran from these people to other continents, dude. I applied in a dozen countries for protection, for political asylum. I wanted to fucking escape. That's all I wanted, to start a new life, fresh life somewhere. It wouldn't even have to be anything. These people wouldn't let go, man. He said, no, you. He said, no, for you. Now that's a different story. Head back a little bit. For you, it can be like this. We need you, like you see me now, losing weight, and insane stuff followed me around. That included cancer, broken spine, and that kind of stuff. That's basically what they needed me for. And allowed me all kinds of advice on how to walk in the rain, how to avoid get wet, how to go in a cold, how to do this, how to survive with the cancer, how to, as they said, systematically develop a pattern which you either follow, and it opens you a new possibilities out to survival, or you just die. Plain how Ursula von der Leyen expressed herself to me. There was something in that sense. Then it was the theories about there's a whole bunch of theories, like systematic. The Germans are systematic, the Germans are organized, the Germans are, all of that. That's what the Germans are, And so
That was expected of me, that it's going to be everything systematic, from food to this to that, like a little computer, you know. In return, I would be, from what I realized, I wasn't only accommodated inside of the shitholes where I was tortured in Poland. The worst shithole is right this one, right here in Slovenia. This one in the house. This is where it went more stuff than anywhere else. This is why I was brought from the US, was done more stuff to me here than anywhere else in the world. The mainstream media, you know, brainwashing through the mainstream media for me to, you know, they tortured, and out of the torture they made the news, you know, and in the torture it was always done in such a way that you would get always, for every scenario, be nice, be friendly, be this, be that. If you say this and then nothing, if you say that and then nothing, is you're talking about the whole fucking Hollywood. You know, you're talking about the people that became billionaires based on this case, literally through I cite the biggest guy in Hollywood. I don't want to see you die, and said, because then you're dead. I want to see you die again and again and again and again and again. That was the purpose of this Hollywood shit. Now, next to that kind of news, they put the good kind of news, and they embedded the good kind of news on the Yahoo or some other mainstream media website. So you would click on, see this, and see something that rings familiar to you, and then you would enter through the memory into a whole new dimension in which there was a stuff that you don't even see in horror fucking movies done to you. Now, you see those. They told me to call rappers rippers and stuff like this, people. You know, financed by the London, by the Buckingham Palace. Next to all this, there was a, so that this is going to be a test. This is going to be a test. Yeah, and then I found myself next to Putin, talking to me bullshit about stuff that, what the fuck I care about that, about his family stuff, and who his daughter, and this and that, and with whom he affair, and this and that. He was not the only one. It was about the Ursula von der Leyen with her children. It was about Charles and the Buckingham Palace and so on. What the fuck? Explaining me all these things. Tell me that you're gonna be a king. You're gonna be a royalty. That's okay. And so, to finish this theory about this, everything must be organized. It looks like it's gonna rain. We'll be watching you, everything you do, because of your past, because of the way you eat, because of your habits, because of my fucking habits, because the way I eat. We want to make sure that you follow this pattern, that you are self-sufficient. For every royal, we must make sure he's doing okay, or we destroy you. Oh wow, that's how fantastic case. You're gonna have a royal audience that's gonna observe you with a broken spine, cancer, locked inside of the lab, actually, as they refer to my room, microwave, right in the fucking complaint which is submitted already since 2007 on a dozen of unsuccessful occasions, used actually on the first occasion to even replace me a car tires with all worn out car tires so that I could almost end up dead in a place called hell, if translated from Slovenian Pekel, on my way home from fishing. So this is what this shit is all about then. I would really believe this, you know, if you would go and you would just, how to say, dissect portion of my brain where the information is stored about being basically how I see myself as pushed towards suicide for no less than 28 years. You know, in Slovenian we say mrcvarjenje. This is like, let's say that that thing right there. Let me see if you see this. A can, a little can, whatever. Let me see. Yeah, okay, at night time, I don't know. Yeah, you see it. It's a can. It's a can. Let's see. This is a human being, and it would go like this, like this, like this, this. You know, that kind of stuff. Maybe take a screwdriver and you stab him. This is what my MK Ultra was experience with these people. They did insisted me since '97. They did. Germans did. About the suicide too. I had other people, including the niece's husband, guiding me here in the breach, not too far from here. How I just fucking kill myself. That I have these brain implants and there's no way, there's no solution, there's no way to get them out of my head and stuff like that. Just fucking throw yourself and till you completely explode. You know, stuff that I actually, due to loss of 28 years, due to so many lies against me, these people paid in for, find extremely difficult, you know, to believe. And even more so because obviously that whoever does the stuff like this to you, you definitely wouldn't want to be part of him or his company, his crew, I would say. So that too is not really that thesis that they came up with, that how I'm absurd and based on this and that they will decide and this and that kind of stuff. All too much stuff like this, so much bullshit to mentally eat you out completely so that you fucking eat yourself out more, as they refer to toxic. But this shit is worse than, you know, the shit they brainwash with. It's just school for a suicide, I would say. And that's exactly what I would refer to this case as. A little earlier I was talking to myself, I said, man, with amount of the stuff these people have done to me, this isn't even about amount of stuff. You know, today got 3 hours, yesterday got 3 hours of sleep. And this isn't about anymore even waking up with this sound, which is fucking disturbing 24/7. But you actually, they wake you up with unbearable pain in your feet, in your it's not in the muscle, it's just like a kita, and it feels like it's going to tear apart the muscles, lower muscles in your down below the knees, in your legs. Oh, this, you know, I'm sure that you understand that sleep deprivation makes life a little less fun. And so what I would refer to this case, I wouldn't say anything like this. This is like fucking grotesque to say. when you do to someone to something like this stuff, that you tell him that you want to make sure that he's doing the right things, that he's doing okay, that's fucked up. Well, I just say, like, desperate 28 years of pushing me into a suicide. It's what I would refer to this case as. And still, they did not manage. If we disregard where they had me, like the Slovenian politicians, they refer to us when they had me inside of the mental hospital, you're buried alive, you're dead already, buried alive. You're never gonna remove, you know, this, stand up from your grave, you know, you're done. This is very, very unlikely, you know, that somebody like myself would feel statements like this are legitimate, you know, in respect to royalty and so on. You know. These people have never had any good intentions with me, you know. With the people, real nobodies, they made them wealthy so easy. Like you have no idea. None of them had to go ever on MK Ultra. None of that stuff. They sipped the money like you wouldn't believe. But in my case, it's like you would say, really, Joseph Mengele patients wanted that way. You know, it's like they were entertained. They had fun. It was a good thing. Basically demented through the crime, so much crime. That's a Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a king of crime. But it's not Donald Trump only. Hey, it's others too. But the people they wanted to make easy, they made so easy. For me, I learned, through this case I learned, because it was about not food only, it was about, you know, food. This is like, you know, if you create environment like this, the person's gonna reach out literally for poison. No, really, seriously, because we are designed this way. It's a natural thing that these people wanted to kill my will for life 28 years. This wasn't about torture only. They wanted to kill my will for life for no less than 28 years. And they, next to money, have invested vast amount of energy in it, and they lost. Case after case, year after year. They lost sleep. They lost sanity. Even that you see them depicted in a public as sane people, it doesn't look that way. Starved me in Poland to degree that I had 65 kilos. That's down from more than 100. So that I could look tough, so that I could look good, even with a broken spine, so they could look normal. This isn't about Putin anymore, only. Kill the will for life through most bizarre, insane situations involving food, molded food, all kinds of food that will make you sick, rust, and directed energy weapons with which They believe they're gonna control this environment of mine to the degree I would even believe that weather modifications, like a lot of people you hear see, are actual. A lot of people believe the weather modifications are real, they're real. Oh, look, it's raining a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. No, you're not going to be able to see it. It should be, it's according to the weather prognosis, I shouldn't even be walking around because right now it would have been a bad rain. Is what I was reported about 3 hours ago. They lie with the forecast. It's a little bit drop here, drop there. It's not the first time. I caught them doing this all the time. For a bad behavior, you're going to be punished with the bad weather. Bad behavior was done always in such a way that they would hit you with a weapon with rain, perhaps even snow, front approaching, just maybe on a day when it should go across the area. On what they would post media news, that you would respond with anger, that you would bite back basically, and it would be the kind of news they would actually tell you something, they would teach you how to even respond in this news, literally teach you how to respond on this news, what to say, to be as evil as possible. And even tell you that if you're gonna say it's gonna be a rain, it's gonna be a weather, bad weather, and then if you're gonna be bad and stuff like that, that's basically a weather. That's your weather modification program. Your fucking weather modification ability to modify weather is, I'm gonna say, completely indifferent. Totally indifferent from what I stated. For the weather modification paranoia, for that kind of stuff, I did finish this video afterwards, just like yesterday I did on October the 22nd, 2021, to explain myself in details exactly for what I thought about that I did not stay in the video. You just gotta go and watch this video here to understand about the weather modification. The main idea about the weather modification is implemented paranoia on a targeted individual through the use of weather prognosis, and therefore knowing exactly about the weather which is on its way through the certain area, whatever this individual is located at, next to this type of stuff. That you type, and it will give you the wrong idea about the weather that's coming, about the front, about the weather front that's coming through the area. Oftentimes will give you a completely wrong idea. That's why you should resort yourself to a more detailed, with a precision, and even you should visit a variety of these weather channels. You should refer yourself to the hourly weather change, rather than the stuff like this. Oftentimes it happens so. Parallel to the use of directed energy weapons. To make an individual feel that lives in a totally controlled world, as if you brainwash one through the use of violence repeatedly, with idea to disrupt
his normal patterns. You even manage to destabilize his eating habits. This individual that you brainwash him under MK Ultra, you don't even actually. It's so much paranoia. It's now referred to this stuff as United States of paranoia, literally. You just have to go. You, a regular American, anyone in this world for that matter, on a Facebook, the U.S. government already have Facebook groups and individual. Oftentimes fake individual who participate in this fake groups who will befriend you. They will be very nice and so on. So you don't have to worry about anything about when it comes to weather modification, conspiracy theories. Not that I'm saying that weather modification program does not exist. It's just that the idea is, look, it does, but a government cannot frequently afford itself to change the weather because of you. But the idea here is to absorb the human mind, literally completely compel one into giving up all his hopes and just become a crazy, even I'm going to say a suicidal tool. Okay? For more exactly what I meant, as I explained myself, just go and visit this video. I have posted this post here, Weather Modification and Paranoia Life Patterns Play What Effect on You. Okay, so this is a really good stuff that it's actually more important than the privacy. And I salute Mr. Edward Snowden, who demonstrated to us there is no such thing as privacy. What's the most valuable thing is what I stated to you right now, and that's your ability to resort yourself, your human mind, to a sanity, basically to a peace, and not to burden yourself with extra unnecessary stuff that comes along already with all the problems the government, next to employment and all that stuff, is using against you to again disrupt your most important life patterns, such as food, sleep, and even push you in some kind of world of paranoia for you to give up all your hopes on life, on happiness, basically on everything, because this is how they're pushing this world over the edge. As I have explained, the situation we have now is only unique in a sense that Germans involved this time in their Nazi game, a black race alone. Therefore, from the bottom, they pick it up, they put that on the top, and using plunder and murder related to the fake human rights they support in these people, use them basically to progress their agenda, push the world on the brink and beyond, to repeat basically the situation prior to the World War II. It was the same thing. In the Germany, basically the same thing. In the Germany, we had the situation, people would have to go with the baskets of money to buy themselves bread. You have the ladies selling themselves behind every corner. It was a terrible situation until their German hero came that was financed by the Big Apple. The Big Apple, of course, I mean a Big Apple that's in New York, and his name was Adolf Hitler. When this big savior came, he saved entire Germany. All of a sudden, everything went back in place, all the corruption, everything. Pretty much the people that you see smiling over there, acting so stupid, claiming about how they care about the feminism, about the gay people, about people of colors, about the human rights and so on, disappeared. And then, my God, well, Not quite like that, almost. After more than 70 million people were murdered because of Germany, obviously that history repeats again plan, however, did not go through. Actually, a pay is a sign of gratitude, isn't it? That's a reward for something well done. It should be this way at least, no? And this is about what here? About the royal titles? Okay then. You'll just keep those royal titles to yourself. You deserve them more than I do.
Meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
Nordmenn nordlendinger, trøndere, sørlendinger og folk fra alle andre regioner. Nordmenn også innvandret fra Afghanistan, Pakistan og Polen, Sverige, Somalia og Syria.
Obama and Dwayne Johnson and Kamala Harris and all these socialists, communists.
Det ikke alltid så lett å si hvor vi fra.
Communists. American communists which studied communism before they became multi-millionaires and billionaires, Mike Tysons and all that garbage. What exactly, this is a question to American Supreme Court, this is a question to President Joe Biden-elect, this is a question to all American presidents, to the U.S. Congress, to the U.S. Democratic Party, to the Republican Party, to the constitutionalists, to the U.S. Constitutionalists. What the fuck exactly does European royal title has to do with you? If I was to become entitled to obtain one, what the fuck this got to do with you? The answer for this is exactly nothing. And this question actually properly addressed as I did, was not to address you, but those who have actually used you as an excuse so that you can point at them and so they can point at you for whose fault this shit is. That's European royals. That's the European scavengers, vultures that feed on the dead corpses. Now, do you know what actually does have to do with Obama, with Dwayne Johnson, with Mike Tyson, with your Lennox Lewis, with all your black communist heroes, billionaires? I'm going to explain to you, with you who suffer injustice due to human rights, but trade literally with the human lives on behalf of royals, on behalf of scavengers. You basically murder. You kill. Do you know what this got to do with all of you? What it's got to do with all of you, it's what is written in our Constitution is illegal as a criminal. Well, basically engaging in a torture, in the most sadistic torture against American citizens that actually involved a cancer, spine breaking, next to 28 years of torture, exposing an individual to the forced employment from United States of America after engaging in a swift acts of physical and mental torture, and most swift, engaging in incitement against him, forcing him into a suicide through the use of violence, bringing him to other continents worldwide to force him into a suicide. That's something that's written in the U.S. Constitution. Actually, it's not written that it's prohibited. The U.S. Constitution was written so that stuff like this would be prohibited. You are fucking scum of the scum, every one of you. So keep pointing finger at one another, but please don't point one at Mr. Joe Biden, because he's just doing his job. What exactly is his job other than to kill, right? That was the fucking job he had for 28 years. So what? You all knew about it.